Okay. What do you think, Kevin?
I concur.
No, I predict that in 2027, the political climate in Michigan is going to be much better.
There it is. Hello, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Stick to the Plan podcast. As always, it's a Monday. I'm Kevin. This is Russ. How are we doing today, Russ?
Kevin, I predict
You predict
that in 2027, that the political climate in Michigan is going to be much better.
And if you say in 2027 that you predict 2028 will be much better, I'm going to hit you.
They keep asking about predictions of who could be the front runner for president in 2028.
JD.
It keeps coming back, JD, but let me tell you that Marco Rubio is right there, man. You know, Marco can do anything.
Yeah. JD, I don't know. I head to head, I like JD a lot better than Rubio, but I mean, either one.
I said that coming out the gate because that's my favorite part of our intro.
Yeah.
And I just come back from the Michigan GOP state convention, where we elected our nominees.
The nominees
for a lot of positions, but the big boys were Attorney General and Secretary of State. Congratulations to Doug Lloyd, our nominee, the Republican nominee for Attorney General, and congratulations to Anthony Forlini for our nominee for Secretary of State, Kevin. I think that will be a winning combination.
I think it's strong.
As long as we don't screw up who we pick for governor.
Oh, yeah.
Which
there's that.
We have great candidates. We do. The front runners, in my opinion, are all qualified to be governor. Now, are they winnable? I'm hoping so. That Perry Johnson, he's coming out hard, spending a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think money's going to, unfortunately, we hate money in politics, but unfortunately, money wins races.
It does. In lots of people hate money in politics, but guess what? It's always going to be there.
Yeah. We haven't found a way to not have it be there.
I don't have the solution. Speaking of, a former candidate for governor.
Current author.
Garret Soldano will be on the show today.
He will.
In like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, he'll be on his way. He wrote a book, the book came out last midnight, right?
No, the book's been out for a week or two.
Oh, I thought I saw it came out on the 31st.
Nope.
I might have misread it.
Nope, and it's a top seller in like several categories.
I did see that it was a bestseller on Amazon. Yeah. That's why it's today it says best-selling author.
I have the book. That's how I have it. Because
he owns the book.
It's available
he owns the book.
It's available on the Amazon.
Yeah, and actually the link's in the description for the to purchase on the Amazon. But
anyways, we're gonna have Garret on today primarily to talk about his book. But guess what? If we can talk a little bit about what it's like to be a candidate for governor at this stage in the game, I think Garret could probably give a pretty good feel of what that's like.
Yeah, and especially going through
he's been there.
The before and the after of the nomination convention, I think it's something people don't think about, because now all of a sudden, especially if you're a Republican and you're the now you know who your potential running mates are. Your down card.
It's shaping up the ticket.
Yeah, that's your down ticket. Yeah,
the ticket's beginning to develop.
And it does help.
And if you're a candidate for governor, that's important. Now, the candidate for governor oftentimes determines how we look or vote for the down ticket. But boy, there's a combination there. I do wonder how Garret felt at this time when he was running for governor. It does make you wonder. I mean, that I've never ran for governor. I don't.
Yeah. Real quick, JJ Stoner, one of my good friends of some of my other shows, rated the stream for us, and we got Renee's confused in the chat. I'm sure we'll have a bunch more people coming from his show. So welcome in, guys. This is Stick to the Plan podcast.
Yeah. Also on the nomination convention, we last week's leading into it, we found a couple of excellent candidates for Michigan Supreme Court. We didn't even have candidates, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And boy, let me tell you, Kevin, I was nervous.
Oh,
I was like, how the heck are we going to get through this? And we're going to have no candidates for Supreme Court. We pulled them out. We found them, but also, but those are uncontested. We didn't have to vote for them because it's two positions and there was two people. Same thing with the U of M Board of Regents and Wayne State or Michigan State, all that stuff. Michigan State Board of Education.
Yep.
We've got good candidates for them all.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was looking through them, and I met most of the candidates. Most people I've never met the U of M or the U of M.
We did have a lot of them through here that you've had a chance to meet.
The one that I've met a couple times actually is Lena Epstein. Is that her name?
Lena.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, and Garrett's chiming in.
All right. No, I'm real excited. It was better than expected or in the past process at our nomination convention. Those are always contentious, and we usually have to go through a bunch of crap before we get down to business. But I think everybody showed up, and their intention was to get down to business so we can start electing Republicans. There was and Garret will be right with you. How are you? There was a credentialing issue, and guess what, Kevin?
What?
It had to do with Hillsdale.
Oh, no. Always Hillsdale, right?
And I've been in that Hillsdale fight from the very beginning, and I went to the nomination convention saying I'm not going to allow any of this to be on our plate unless it's talking about elections. But the credentialing committee, in my opinion, sat members of the Hillsdale delegation that shouldn't be sat. The agreement that was brought up at the state committee meeting wasn't fulfilled.
Yeah,
and they sat those delegates anyhow. But so I said, okay, I'll stand up for Hillsdale one more time here.
one more time for Hillsdale.
Luckily, it only took 15, 20 minutes. Our opposition didn't hold up. Move on in life. Let's get into electing candidates.
You can't let Hillsdale be taking more time, unfortunately, to get to that point.
You know where we're at with the Hillsdale problem? There's so many new delegates that have been elected since this Hillsdale issue came up, 5 years ago, that they have no idea of the background to it all.
Right.
And I've been in the fight from the beginning, and I am tired. I'm tired of it. I do think that some of the Hillsdale people have kind of diluted it by adding other things. But I've unwilling, not wanting to a whole lot. I've stood with Hillsdale every step of the way.
Yeah.
And but they know that my patience is running thin, those Hillsdale guys, So, but anyways, I said going into the Jackson delegation, boy, I can't wait for this to get behind us so we can start on electing Republicans. I already got people reaching out saying, Russ, how can we start knocking doors for Doug Lloyd and Anthony Ferlini?
Hey, that's good.
And that's exactly what we need.
It's a good problem to have.
Yep. That is a good problem to have. And the reason why we did an early convention is so that the candidates could raise money and people can get energized, and we have more time to promote our excellent candidates. I think we did a really good job.
Yeah, I think so. I said from the beginning, there was a strong field either way, especially for the big boys, the two big states.
And Kevin, we've interviewed all the SOS candidates,
yep.
all the AG candidates, and then you've interviewed, or part of the interview process on the AG
candidate. I produced the show with Marcy and Doug Lloyd.
That's right. So, you've got a personal connection, and I do know how you felt on it. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, our guys won, and it's time to get busy with this.
Exactly. Support your candidate in the primary, but you got to, support your candidate in the primary, but, go all out in the...
You screwed it up.
Yeah, I screwed it up.
Son, you screwed it up.
Yeah, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm pushing buttons over here.
Fight like hell for your candidate in the primary. But circle the wagon and support the nominee.
Yeah, you got to. Otherwise, you end up electing a Democrat.
Yeah, that's right. We've done that before. So, anyways, our guest is here.
Yes, he is. Pull him up.
Let me pull him up.
Pulling him up. Pull it up.
Hi, Garret. How are you? Are you there? All right, you're gonna have to probably.
You might be muted, bud.
Yeah, you're from with Rumble Studio.
Yeah, it still says you're muted. At the bottom of your screen, there'll be a little microphone with a cross. There it goes. There we are.
I got it.
There it is.
Rumble makes it tough. Sorry about that.
Garret,
you're all good, man.
good seeing you. I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a second, man. Obviously, I'm not in Michigan, as you can see with the palm trees in the back.
Yeah, that we don't grow those here.
By the way, I was going to ask you that, Garret, because I seen a video you put out yesterday. You were on a like a front porch on a swing, and I seen palm trees in the back. I said, "Oh, spring break time."
Yeah, that's right. And you can always see the gleaming of sweat on my forehead here. It's in mid 80s, and I'm not used to the heat. That's for sure.
It's kind of warm here today, actually.
Yeah, we're in the 70s, but you're right, Garret. That's what happens is we get acclimated to the Michigan winters, and then you go south or whatever and hit that. In the first couple of days, it's a little warm on us Michiganders in the warmer climate.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I was listening to you guys in your intro, and I haven't talked about politics in a long time.
Right.
We're going to get kind of into it today because you guys hit on a lot of great points that I'd like to just to hit on real quick is what you said about circle the wagons. Like, hey, we all have our primary candidates that we love and we support, but now that the convention race is over, it is very important that we support Lloyd and Fortellini, which I feel humbly that they got it right. I feel that we have great candidates that's going to appeal to a lot of people. And as you guys are well aware of, you got to appeal more than just to the right. We have to get that middle on our side. And I think these are two great candidates they're going to be able to do that.
And I've been doing this a while now, and it's so hard to get emotionally attached to your candidate in a primary, and that's great. To detach yourself and then support the person that won because your guy didn't win is tough to do, but it has to be done. It has to be done. But I had a sense on the convention floor that most, and I mostly can talk about the Jackson delegation. We're prepared to do that. It's time to circle the wagon and elect our nominees.
Yeah, because that's what happened in the last race, correct? Especially in the U.S. Senate races. A lot of people just picked their ball up and went home. And what do we get out of it? A Democrat, and for a long period of time. So this race and many other races in this November is going to be critical. And this is do or die in the state of Michigan. We said this time and time again, but we all can feel it, that if we don't take back our state, we're a stone throw away of looking like California.
Yeah, maybe we learned a little bit in 22, the outcomes there, and it feels good to have won the state house, and we reminded ourselves in 24 how nice it is to at least we can be a wall against maybe tyranny or whatever the Democrats have to do, and it feels good to be able to get something accomplished to where you don't have a trifecta like we've had over the last several years in the state of Michigan. So,
correct.
Before we get into the book, I do, and maybe you heard me talking about this. As a former candidate for governor, you've been in this exact same position that our candidates, the Republican candidates for governor in the primary, are in now. Okay, we're prior to signatures being submitted, although I think all the front runners have their signatures. You just got over an endorsement convention, although when we did it in August. We didn't have an early one. But tell me what you think the candidates in the primary for governor are feeling right now. What are they feeling energized because of the endorsement convention? What do you think they're feeling?
I would be, because that affects the ticket too on who gets voted in, right? So I would be excited if I was running right now with our two candidates and all the other candidates that obviously got elected too, but the main two right now, obviously the gubernatorial candidates are in hustle mode. They're nonstop, mouth around an open fire hydrant, trying to meet as many people, get in front of as many people, fundraise, which you guys hit on, which is huge, unfortunately, but money's in politics, so you have to have the ability to fundraise. And if you're not fundraising, I don't care how great you think you are or how great your supporters think you are, you're not going to win this race. You got to get on media. You got to be able to push your messaging out. And obviously, the two front runners, John James and Perry, do have a tremendous amount of money behind them. I know Eric Nesbitt has a pretty solid, respectable war chest. The other candidates,
I think
I
Mike
don't know
Cox
where they're
is
at.
sitting pretty good, I believe.
Yeah, Mike too. So, That's one thing that's different this time around than when I ran. The only person that really had their own money was Kevin Rinke, and we raised $2.2 million. At the time was leading fundraising wise, and no one else was really fundraising at that point. So they're in hustle mode, especially now over the next several months before the debates start heating up. And then it's just like finishing through the finish line for that August, that primary.
So that brings up something that just occurred to me. You could be candidates that are self-funded, like we have with Perry right now, for example, and then others have put their own money or however into their candidacy. I think Mike Cox did quite a little bit, and it looked like even Ralph Rebrandt had, but that money only lasts so long. So you need to be fundraising in order to do that. It'll be interesting now that I'm gonna look at the numbers more as quarterly reporting comes out. I'm just going to throw a number out. Let's say you threw $500,000 into your own campaign. It'd be nice to see that you've raised another million or something. I mean, you were the true grassroots candidate at raising money at small donations. It was almost unheard of what you were able to accomplish with your run for governor. And boy, it'd be nice to see maybe a candidate out there that can almost come match that,
That's what I'm looking for. And I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, when we raised that $2.2 million, it was astronomical. I mean, it was 96% within the state of Michigan. I think 94% of that 2.2 million was under the amount of $200, which is unbelievable. I mean, that was grassroots at its purest. Folks putting in $5 to $10 here and there. I mean, those are the true heroes of our campaign. Is not only our ground game, but the folks who donated, and they are giving up, subscriptions and memberships to donate to our campaign. I mean, it was unbelievable. But yeah, I don't know if the grassroots candidates are going to be able to, fundraise what they need to fundraise. Like you guys said, they're all great people. I know most of these folks all personally. They're all great people. But bottom line, you have to have the money to not only compete in the primary, but we have such a short 3-month period before the general. I mean, you can't spend your entire war chest and then expect to raise 10 to 20 million to compete with the Democrats, because they're going to probably have double the amount of money that we're going to have. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out, especially, hey, let's get the elephant out of the room, the Trump endorsement. President Trump is not happy with John James right now. And obviously a lot of people in the Michigan aren't really happy with John James, with him exiting that seat. Perry Johnson obviously throwing a lot of money. So they're all going to be catering for that Trump endorsement. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, and the debates. We haven't really seen John out there debating yet. So we're going to see if he can get out in front.
I do see Oakland County is having a debate. And surprisingly enough, John James is listed as a confirmed candidate there. The University of Michigan Young Republicans have one coming up. And as usual, John's not there.
I feel John has to come out for a few debates at least. I mean, we did 6 in 2 months.
Yeah.
June, like May, June, and July, 6 in 3 months. And so, do I think that we have too many debates? Yeah, but I think we should have 3 or 4 quality ones with TV time to get the messaging out. But I do believe John should show up to a couple of these.
And I up until recently, I thought maybe that's a good strategy on John James, for the last several months to just why put yourself out there. And I do wonder if that's a strategy his team came up with, and maybe it worked for a while because of that name recognition. But I think we're at the point now to where he's going to have to surface more,
especially with Perry Johnson entering the race.
Sure,
I mean, you can't run away from whatever Perry's putting in. 20,
he's
30,
everywhere
$50 million.
Right now. Perry is
that's
everywhere.
What money does.
Yeah,
that's what money does. He's on his bus, he's on his tour, he's getting in front of people, and they're pushing out on social media and everything else. So, if Perry wasn't running, and this, Russ, I was a big fan of Kevin Rinke possibly getting in, because Kevin was going to bring money to the table, and
I was
Kevin was a
waiting for
businessman. Yeah, I was too, man. And I have to believe I was disappointed that he decided not to throw his hat in the ring because I've grown to like Kevin. I call him a close personal friend. But I understand why he didn't want to get in. That's
Yeah.
for sure. But with John and Perry Johnson now, it's going to be interesting how this all plays out. And I do believe John's going to have to get out in front of the folks to have a debate because Perry's going to be pushing that message out constantly.
I ran into Kevin at the convention. It was nice to see him and speak to him for a couple minutes. I've just recently, in the last 6-8 months, got to know Kevin a little bit, some phone conversations, and we ran into each other at a couple of events. And of course, the topic was the fact that I was going to have you on my show, and you haven't done an interview in a while. He claims he was the last one to do an interview with Garret Soldano.
He was. And that was a while back, man, several months ago.
Yeah. And
you guys know me though, man. I just flap my gums all the time. So this is great. Thanks for having me on, by the way. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be truthful with you right now. I just received the book. Actually, it came by I just received it. And yesterday morning. And so I've read one chapter and one page of the second chapter. And so that's where we're at with that.
I've read the Cliff Notes.
Yep. But I've watched, I think, every single one of your videos promoting the book and your inspirational things that you have to say about it. So I'm not totally in the dark here. And basically what we normally do is we always let our guests, because Kevin and I always wing it.
Yeah.
We don't prep well. Although if I would have I should have ordered the book earlier in the week and I didn't. Okay, so it is my fault.
Yeah, and I do plan on reading the book. I just didn't. I knew I wasn't going to finish it before we had you on. So
save your $17, Kevin. Your dad's got a copy.
I plan on borrowing.
You know. Hey, no,
I
need to buy the book. No, that's you guys are gonna enjoy it. I mean, you didn't even get to the chapter where I hit Governor Whitmer. Oh. I mean, come on.
Oh, geez. What chapter is that? Can I skip right to it?
I think it's in chapter 2 or chapter 3. I couldn't help myself, so
well, yeah,
I had to talk about the pandemic and everything that she did. Yeah. So I did hit her. I will continue to hit her in my own way if she ever decides to run for president, which we all don't want. That's for sure. Yeah. So. No, to be honest with you, you probably saw this video, Russ, that, what started this whole thing was after Charlie Kirk got murdered. Mm-hmm. After that unfortunate assassination, I did a lot of reflecting in my own life, and I started to say, what if I were to die? What would I be able to leave to my kids? What could they reflect back on how Dad was? And so this actually started with me just journaling and basically writing a manifesto to my boys that I was just going to finish and put it in the safe with a letter. If something ever happened to me, they would receive the manifesto on how to live like a man and what was expected as a man. But as I started to write, I said, man, this is pretty good. So I started to think, like, if this can help my boys, how many other young people out there and adults in period, how can it help them just get a little better? So this is just a manifesto on how I live, how I look at life, and how I've really gained my success through a lot of hard work in my life. And that's basically why I wrote it, was for my 2 boys.
I did watch your video on that, and I love that. It's very inspirational. The reason why you got to this, why you wrote a book, and I get it. We all watched Charlie get killed on that stage that day, and I have 4 sons. One of them's right here with me now, and they're older than your sons, and I will tell you this: when anything you can help young adult men that are starting a family. I look back when I was a young adult and first out starting off having children, no direction. You're busy trying to learn how to be a man, let alone set up to teach your children how to be men. And so anything that can help, you reach a lot of people, and you hope that somebody will pick up the book and read a couple chapters and get something out of it, and that's where I'm at with that. I can't teach my son Kevin over here anything more than I already have. You know what I mean? So
No,
I can,
exactly.
but
And
You try.
that's our job, right? Is to just get a little better with each generation.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not perfect, especially me. Okay, I've made mistakes. I'll continue to make mistakes in my life, but our job, I think, as parents and as human beings, especially, is just every single generation just get a little better. Take what was taught to you or what you experienced and build upon it, and that's how we move ahead. So it's definitely a guide, and there's a lot of things for a lot of people. It's funny, all the Amazon reviews are coming in and they're better than expected. I didn't
Good.
really think of the impact that we would have. There's been actually a lot of women that have been doing the reviews that have read this book that have gotten a lot out of the book. So what you'll find as man, woman, or young person, that there's just a lot of universal success principles on that you can apply to your life. And just like you said, Russ, just take one or two and apply it. I
That's
talk
something.
about the shutdown protocol and what I do every night just to make sure that I'm getting enough sleep so I can wake up with my butt on fire the next day to accomplish what I want to accomplish. So there's things in there about nutrition, longevity, just many things for a lot of people. Obviously, it's catered toward the young folks right now because that's one thing that we witnessed over the past 6 years is there's a lot of women that were standing up,
Yeah.
and that's when we did our events and our rallies and our protests and our run for governor. I mean, 75% of the crowd was always women. And me and my folks would just be like, where's all the men, man?
Where's the man?
Like, where's the men? And and that's what the left has done. They've built a culture that if you stand up, it's toxic and all this other hot
Right.
garbage. That's all BS.
If you stand up,
So
you're misogynist or whatever,
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with good masculinity and being a man.
You're right. And there is a difference between being masculine and being toxic, right? Because toxic masculinity is bad. We hear it all the time, the loudmouth, arrogant. They think the louder they yell, that makes you more of a man. And that's just not true. But I just want to make sure that men have a guide, what they can refer to, and, be a little bit better version of themselves. And that's how we continue to dominate this beautiful cosmic journey we call life.
Something that I've taken away from my one chapter and listening to you the last couple of weeks, and as I'm getting older, as a man starts to get older, you hopefully start being more comfortable in your thoughts and in the way you're going to proceed. The younger you get better at it, not all. We always see that 70-year-old person that's getting locked up on the scanner pages or something. Not everybody learns, but most of us learn as and then it's something that's just occurred to me in the last couple of years. You get comfortable in your own skin. It's okay to do that. Do you have a vision? Do you know how you're going to proceed? I'm pushing 60, so you're looking at, okay, what's 80 look like? My dad's 80. What's that look like? But I think it helps. I was on a different podcast, and it was a younger guy, and he's like, he's asking Russ, what's your key to success? And I'm going, I don't think I'm successful. Okay. I mean, maybe this younger person I am, you don't stop trying to be more successful or being better at what you do, but you do get to the point where you're comfortable and you're comfortable because you know where you're heading a little bit. And I think people in their 20s and 30s and 40s are still trying to answer that.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially in today's kind of fast scrolling world, right? They're conditioned with this instant gratification.
Yeah.
And we just have to really get back to the basics. I mean, just like put the gosh darn phone down,
Yeah.
show up on time, do a good work, put your heart and soul in whatever you do, even in the smallest acts. And if you do that and you continually do it, it's not going to be overnight success, but what it does, it builds the foundation. And as that foundation gets secure, you start building the skyscraper of your dreams. I mean, if you're not pushing, if you're not feeling uncomfortable, if you're not getting challenged, if you're not failing, you're not pushing hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Russ. I mean, as we start to age, I mean, I'm going to be 50 here in a couple of years. We're kind of setting our ways and everything else, but we can't lose that edge of what brought us to this point. And I think I see a lot of times in my clinic. I mean, how many times do we see people who retire that don't have a purpose anymore? They die a week or 2 weeks or several months later.
My wife and I were just talking about that. People recently retired, and then they don't get to enjoy it. They're done right afterwards, because they lived for their work.
Correct.
Right.
And you can adapt that. I mean, you don't have to do your 8 to 5 job for your whole life, but you
Sure.
have to find something, whether it be your grandkids, your church, your community. I don't care what it is. Run for some level of office, get behind a candidate. You got to have a purpose. If you have a purpose and you have a why, something to get you up out of bed, it's going to give you some longevity in life. That's for sure.
I think myself, for example, and I hope that others can do the same. Many people will look at me and say, Russ, why do you do what you do? Why do you put your heart and soul into politics or into the Jackson GOP? It's a volunteer position, and I'm doing what I do every day, all the time. Well, multiple reasons. I think it's important, but it also defines me. It also gives me something to do other than worrying about paying the bills or whatever. And you see results, but it didn't happen overnight. You start chipping away. Too many people walk away too early, and a few of us that have stuck around start seeing the results, and you just want to keep going after those results, those positive results. By gosh, if you're in the politic business, I've seen a lot of failures. Man, I've lost my own elections. I've won my own elections. I've been part of campaigns that have won and lost. You take the good with the bad. But I think someone like at my age, it's what keeps me out of bed every day. I'm not the type of person that loses sleep over issues like this at night, but it might be the first thing I'm thinking about when my feet hit the floor in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look at Abraham Lincoln. Look how many times he lost throughout
Yeah.
his career.
Yeah.
So you just never quit. You keep grinding forward. And, I have to give you a shout out, my man, because you do a great job in Jackson, and it is a thankless job. I mean, you take a lot of heat from all different directions, but we need folks to do it. And that's why, people are like, well, you said you got out of politics. I need to see action in my own life. I need to see results. And what I was doing before is just kind of getting online, and I don't want to be a social media influencer, right? I don't want that to define me. I actually want people to get better, to inspire ordinary people to do extraordinary things. And the political thing, as of right now, it wasn't in my heart and soul. And so that's why I stepped away, and then the book evolved, and now, God put me on this path, and we'll see how long that path lasts. But, will I have a future in politics? I don't know. I'll cross that bridge when it happens.
Sure.
But as of right now, I just want to continue to inspire more, to get involved, to be a little better. And that's how we take back our country, I believe.
When you were more heavily involved, even a year ago, in social media, and the hubbub was always about, is Garret going to run again? Is Garret going to run? And I'd watch your shows and things like this, and you were indicating early that you probably weren't going to. You weren't answering for quite a while, but I could tell in the tone that it didn't look like it was in the cards. And as sad as that was, I also understood and definitely respect that. But then you were still the social media person that you are, which you've had huge success with that. And then when you made the announcement and the picture of you and your wife walking away, that you were done, I remember being a little bit sad. I remember thinking, well, where's Garret going, man? What's going on with that? And sometimes you would piss me off too, Garret. I mean, whatever. But most of the time, I look forward to the inspiration. And Kevin's been a fan for many years.
Yeah, I've watched. I've clipped your show for my show in the past.
Yeah, he's got other. Kevin's a podcaster, almost by trade. I don't know if you know this background. He started just screwing around with podcasting, and he had this show. They just had it for a long time.
We're coming on 3 years, April 13th.
Yeah, unrelated to politics. I said, hey, Kevin, you want to do a political podcast with your dad? And Kevin, being my oldest son, I knew where his politics were. I knew he wasn't heavy into it. Yeah, Dad, let's do this. So we're 2.5 years into this.
Yeah, just behind it. Yeah.
Kevin's become quite. We set this up to Kevin to be the normal voice. I'd be the inside baseball guy. But since we've been doing it so long, he's the inside baseball guy too. He's not as political as I am, but
it's hard to not be. I mean, when you talk to so many people, eventually you become that person.
Yeah. So he's knowledgeable. So it's what happens. But when you walked away, Garret, I'm sorry.
Yep.
You walked away, you and your wife in that picture. And I'm like, okay, Garrett's out. And then you announced your book and you're kind of back in because you're promoting your book. You're using your platforms to promote your book. I get it. Is that what brought you back in, or was it a plan? When you walked away, you didn't have a plan to write a book, did you?
No, I was still doing the manifesto for my kids, and that's where my heart was. Like it was noisy, and you guys know this. Politics is, especially when you're at the level that we were at, it's a very evil game. They try to destroy you. They've tried to destroy me for 6 years. I mean, writing world smear articles on me, defaming my name. A clinic got attacked.
Yeah.
I still have to. When you get into politics, it should be almost your primary job, so you don't have to deal with all that noise. But when you're trying to run a business,
sure,
you can't do both of them and be successful at both of them. So you got to be all in with one. And so that's why I stepped away to concentrate on the business and finish my manifesto for my kids. And then as I start getting into this, I really felt that it was a strong need for people to read this. And, I guess that's why it went Amazon bestseller in the first day, #1 in several categories, and it continues to gain momentum. All the reviews, I think 99% of them are 5-star right now. And so I feel that it's needed. And so I'm going to focus on that over the next, several years and see what this book, maybe it'll lead to a series of books. I like writing. I like helping people. And if God ever, decides to open up a door for some kind of political run in the future, I'll consider it. Okay. After talking to my wife, that's for sure. Well, I want to get my boys both into college so they don't have to feel the ramifications anymore either. So I got one going to Michigan Tech next year. I got the other one's going to be a junior in high school. So we're almost there.
You're almost there, but you know what? You're never there, Garret.
It's true.
You're never there. They're always your sons, and they're always there at some level, needing you, or you need them, or whatever it is.
Which is cool. Which you're starting to see the trend now that folks are starting to come back and have like generational compounds. You see that?
Yeah.
Like people are actually starting to move together and like have house. I mean, I love that. So I like that idea. I would love
Kevin and I doing this show together. He's got his life. I've got mine. I'm busy. He wasn't into politics, but I'll tell you that one thing that it's done, it puts us in the same room every Monday at 2:00.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, how fantastic is that?
Yeah.
Because
something we can share together.
When it comes down to the end, when the good Lord calls us up to the big leagues, it's not how much wealth you had. It's your family, and it's your loved ones, and the impact that you made. That's what matters most. It's not money.
Yeah. I do appreciate, there's times where I don't want to be in the same room with Kevin at 2:00 on Monday. But it's something we do together, like Kevin just said, and we share together. We enjoy it. And, I appreciate a lot, and I encourage any fathers out there, no matter what age their sons or children's are, to try to find that. Yeah. I've got other sons too that I don't get in the room with once a week at 2:00. So I do appreciate it a lot. And I wanted to bring up something I brought up on this show a lot, Garret. So you mentioned how we've lost over several years. It seems that we've lost our youth the way that we think that they should be, or our boys. And I reference boys a lot here because I had sons. And I've noticed in the last couple of years, now I live in a semi-rural community in Jackson County. Okay. Right. The city of Jackson isn't a big metropolitan area, but it's a city, and I live in a rural area in a lake community, and a lot of people in Michigan live in a lake community. But I've noticed in the last couple of years, more and more boys out playing hockey, out fishing, catching frogs, probably getting in trouble, doing that, riding your bike where you're not supposed to ride your bike, riding grandma and grandpa's golf cart around where you're not supposed to ride the golf cart. That is all good stuff. And I've watched more and more of it, and I think that I wasn't noticing it or it didn't exist as much. But there's something going on. There's something going on in the last couple of years where little kids are out being little kids, and I'll be more specific. Boys are still out being boys.
Yeah. You're spot on. That younger generation and what the pandemic kind of exposed, and a lot of these folks they're conservative. These young people are conservative, and they want to get back to like how you and I grew up. I mean, my boys always reference, man, you guys were lucky. I would have loved to grow up in the 80s and 90s, right? And it's true. I mean, we
Yeah.
got our big wheels out. We didn't come home until the
Yeah.
sunset when the street lights came on, and it was a great way to live, a great way to grow up. And I feel, especially the tide is turning in a culture where a lot of people are going back to the basics. And I talk a little bit about that in my book too. It just like being a man and what's expected, you know, how to treat women, being a gentleman. I referenced Tim Tebow and his kind of wait until he was marriage, and it just let's get back to that family, that generational kind of family, that love, that connectivity that we all desire. So yeah, Russ, you're right. It's getting back to that. That's great to see.
On that podcast that I referenced earlier, that I was on. By the way, this is a podcast in a young guy's basement, and he's just been killing it with guests, you know, reaching out, having the courage to reach out to the chairman of the Jackson Republican Party, the chairman of the Jackson Democratic Party, local police chiefs, and things like that. And he's had success getting them on his show. So when he called, I'm like, yeah, I'll jump on. And he asked me role models, and we need more role models in life. Who are your biggest role models? I'm like, well, okay, I always looked up to my dad. Who doesn't look up to their dad? But role
Yeah.
models and it's a family thing. Both uncles. I had an uncle on both sides, my mother's side and my dad's side. That when he asked me that, and I got thinking about it, and I think about how important they were when I was a young boy or a young teenager or a young man. They both gave me jobs in different fields. I remember being, you know, maybe 11, and the one uncle owned a bike shop, and he paid me to sweep his parking lot. And I'm out there pushing the dirt around, and I come in, hey, Uncle Bruce, I'm done with the parking lot. He walked out and he goes, this looks like shit. What the hell did you do? He showed me how to sweep a parking lot. Okay, I didn't know how, but he took that time to show me how to do it. He knew I didn't slough it off. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And we need role models, men role models for our boys just like that.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
We do, and it starts at home. It starts with family members, and then it evolves out from there. It's
Yeah.
funny. I share a similar story, not a parking lot, but my boy didn't make his bed really good. I mean, it was just pull up the covers. I'm getting ready to school, so I came in and I talk about this in the book. I said, "Hey," I said, "You make your bed?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, let's have a conversation." And I said, "Son," I said, "what if you know you died right now? Right now, you die, massive heart attack, you keel over, and you start going up to heaven." And you start getting a little cocky because you know you're going to get judged here. Like, here we go. And you start reflecting about your life and you start thinking, like, you know, I've been 99% good. There's a few things that I did bad, but man, I'm a shoo-in for heaven. I got it. And then when you get up there in front of God and God's looking at you, Alex, and God's disappointed and he's shaking his head. And you could see my son was into the story. He's like, where's dad going with this? And God looks down at you, Alex, and says, God, or Alex, you may think that I grade you on a lifetime of good and bad, or what did you do? And he said, but no, we grade you on your last act. And you could see that kind of punched him in the gut. And I said, so what do you think about your bed? He's like, Dad, let's remake my bed. I was like, yeah, that's a good point.
So how's he making that bed now?
It's perfect. Hospital corners.
Kevin, you can't take that. You can't take that from me. I just throw the covers over.
I don't make my bed.
You better start making your bed.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. It's everything that you do in life. We gotta attack it head on. Don't be lazy. Don't cut corners. Just be proud of it. It's just like the admiral at that commencement speech talking about make your bed every single day. That's what he says. Make your bed, because no matter what happens at the end of the day, whether it be the great day or a bad day, you can come home and at least you accomplish something. And that builds onto your mind. It really does. And as men, especially, I mean, we got to lead the charge on that and everything that we do. I'm very orderly in everything that we do in my family. You know, my boys' cars, I always expect to be clean inside and out, because if you can't appreciate that and take care of that, how God's going to bless you with more. So that's just how I roll with my family. Is it right or wrong? I don't know. It's just how we do it, and it's worked very well in my life.
Another one too is failures, men and failures. I've seen so many times men, older men, young men, take a kick in the gut and fail at something. And God knows, Kevin knows, I've done it plenty of time. And I'm sure we all have. Take a breath, take your hit for a day or two, but you got to snap out of it. And you think that people are judging you by that failure, and they're not as much as you think they are. They might be initially, but you pull up your bootstraps, go back out and go back at it. You're going to, and they're going to forget and forgive you of that failure sooner than what you think, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're always hardest on ourselves, right? It's always the man in the mirror, and you tend to put more energy into something that really doesn't need your energy. We have, and what was taught to me when I played football at Western Michigan by our head coach Gary Darnell, the 24-hour rule. No matter what happens in your life, and I talk about my book, obviously. Got to keep plugging my book.
I get it, because I'm not doing it, so you have to.
I talk about the 24-hour rule. So no matter what happens in your life, good or bad, you celebrate it or you dwell and mope on it. Then it's time to get back to work. No matter what happens, and sometimes that's a little harder than it sounds. I mean, when you screw up in a big way, and I have done in my past, you guys all know that. And you got to take some humble pie, but you dust yourself off and you fall down 7, you get up 8. And what I always tell my boys is you fail falling forward. If you're not failing in life, you're not pushing hard enough. And we're all going to fail. That means you're growing, and that's when you're forging. When you're failing and when you're learning, that's when the forge takes place, and that's very important, not only as young men but men in general. And I think it's great to be vulnerable and let people know about your failures, because a lot of people tend to keep all that stuff inside. Now, I'm not saying wear everything on your sleeve for everyone to hear, but when you screw up and you can be upfront about it and say, "Hey, I'm human," and you pray forgiveness, and you pray for forgiveness and you ask for forgiveness to the person if you're wrong. But the most important thing is to look at that person in the mirror and forgive yourself, which a lot of people have a very hard time doing.
Yeah, I've ran into a few people. One just recently is why I think about it. And that individual's a felon. And it's not that he robbed a party store or killed somebody. He'd been in some trouble and he's a felon. And he's like, "Hey, you know, any job leads for me or anything? I'm having a heck of a time finding a job because I'm a felon." Right? I have one of my best friends, 25-year best friend, and he's a felon from years and years ago. He never once let that get in his way. He's always been employed and always provided for his family. And so sometimes I think when people take huge failures like that, being a felon, they let that mindset get in their mind, they let it get in their way, or almost like an excuse. And I told this individual just recently, I'm like, you need to get that right out of your head and move past that. Don't let it be there. Don't let it be that excuse, you know. But that's something in your mind that you have to get over, you know. So I don't know. It's just a good way to look at things. Just don't let huge failures. I'm not a felon. You know, I don't know what that feels like. Don't let that get in the way. Move past it. You know?
Yes, your focus is your reality. Whatever you focus on, you're going to attract. So if you continue to allow that excuse to
Sure.
germinate in your head, you're never going to get anywhere. I mean, we still live in the greatest country in the history of our species.
Guys, you can do anything you
Opportunity
need.
is anything. I
Yeah.
mean, it's endless, and it just keeps getting better. I mean, we couldn't do this type of show 20 years ago.
Oh,
You know,
no.
you'd had to be part of the network or something else. I mean, you had to have your foot in the door with the big networks to even get yourself on TV. So, I mean, the opportunities that we have available to us, and AI is obviously going to be changing the game here, which is going to be a very exciting time. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's going to change." You know what? It is going to change industry, but we're going to adapt. We're going to overcome. Just like the horse and buggy went to the automobile industry, just
Yeah.
like kerosene went to
Yeah.
the oil. So there's so many more opportunities. Yes, you're going to have to adapt, but it is going to be an exciting time, especially I feel for the trades. I think those are some really big time careers on the horizon. They already are, but I think there's going to be even more great opportunities for young men and women to get into the trades and make a very, very great, successful life.
Maybe we're on this whole encouraging our boys to be men thing at a nick of time. and me, noticing the young boys in my neighborhood doing little boy things, because it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was talking to, I'll say a neighbor. When you live on a lake, we're all neighbors, and he's not a next door neighbor. He just lives on the lake, and he's a contractor. He owns a cement contracting business, and he says to me, "One, I can't find employees, and by God, if I could find one, all I do ask you to do is show up on time, and give me 10%." There was a time where that's how desperate they were. They weren't. He'd hire them and they wouldn't show up, or he'd hire them, and we're talking good job. You didn't even need to know anything. He would show you how to be a concrete guy. And, we probably all know people that have done concrete for a career. It's a lucrative career. You can do this. And I haven't heard him complaining like that lately. Maybe he's figured it out. I don't know. I just hope it's something that is changing compared to when he told me that.
I think you're right. I think several years ago we were all complaining about the same thing,
Yeah.
and I think the culture is really, really starting to change, and it should. I'm glad we're getting away from this wokeness, this DEI garbage, and everything else that's going on. I mean, it just slowly starting to lose energy, which we've all wanted for many, many years, because we all been scratching our head, going, "What in the heck's going on?"
Bizarro world.
Yeah, I mean, men wanting to be girls, and you got men competing in women's sports and in bathrooms. I mean, it's just been a hot mess, and it's finally good to start seeing a little bit of common sense. I feel we have a little bit more time.
Society's always going to change to old people like us, where we're going to be like, that's BS or something. But I do think it's a little better now than it had been a couple years ago. I hope so.
Even in Michigan.
Even in Michigan.
We're still not California yet.
No, I'll try to get back to the book before I let you go here. I do like how at the end of each chapter you do have what are you calling it before I open it?
Calls to action.
Calls to action. And I heard you mention that, and I told you I got done with the first chapter, and I thought that was really neat and cool and a great idea, a call to action. Even if you put the book down at that minute and maybe start going after those calls to action, I don't know where it would hurt anybody.
No, and that's exactly what I put in the end of each chapter, is because so many times, even I'm guilty of this. We read a great book and say, "Hey, that was great," and you put it on the bookshelf and it's done.
Yeah.
There's no application of what you learn, and so I tried to write this book as timeless as I could, so people could always reflect back and reread it again and get more out of it, because you should continue to grow. But those calls to action at the end of each chapter is a time of reflection and take the action. Is I really put a lot of good questions of self-reflection. Okay, so what are you going to do with this chapter? Let's start the action of getting things done. And if people do that, even if they just apply 1 to 2% of this book, those little changes that they make in their life will pay dividends here in the future. So I really hope that people apply themselves to the calls to action at the end of each of those chapters.
Have you ever seen anything else like that in a book similar to yours?
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen in some of the self-help books and stuff. They have like journaling and stuff that you can do, or some like self-help courses, like a Tony Robbins or the old school guys.
And I have read those before. Now you say it, you know, right. I'm not certain if I ever took the calls to action. Probably did one way or another.
You're going to with this book, Russ.
I promise you, Garrett, I will. I will get through it. It's actually an easy read. It doesn't. It is. Even if you're not a book guy, it's an easy one to read. And I found, you might be in a paragraph like, oh, whatever, and then you're like, oh, that makes good sense. I mean, it's a good write. You did good. By the way, I was going to ask you, have you written a book before?
Yeah, this is my second book. I wrote a book back in 2013 called God's True Law: A Parent's Guide to Raising Successful Children, which, when I reread that book like a year ago, and I was like, wow, man, I was just a totally different person. I was a new dad, and everything I wrote in that book was kind of like theory of how I was going to raise my boys. But this is the result of the end of the journey of raising my boys. I guess it never stops, but at least getting them out of the house. But just to let people know too, I specifically wrote the chapters short. And you'll notice this, Russ, that some of these chapters are only 3 to 4 pages long.
Yeah.
And I did that because of people's attention span these days. It's not long. So, and my boys, I let them read this manifesto or this book, and they loved it. They loved the short chapters. It kept them interested, and it kept them to finish the book. So, and the chapters build on themselves. So I hope people get through the book and apply at least a little bit to the calls of action. And, I always say each one teach many. And the great thing that I think the record right now is 11 people are buying this book for graduation presents, for Christmas presents already. And I think that is just fantastic to really pass on the information, because that's where we want to make the difference, is the young folks.
A question to you, being some success in the podcast world in short attention spans. Okay. So Kevin and I had been at this for a couple years, and it's only been in the last several months where we knew it. You have to take out clips, throw out clips in order to get views, which I don't mind doing, but it defeats the purpose. But Kevin knows, but if you're over an hour, you've lost them. Matter of fact, if you're over 30 minutes, you've lost them. And this show usually goes an hour and a half. And of course, my audience base, not Kevin's side, but my audience base is old people, are older than me. And they're like, well, I don't have time to watch it. And I'm like, just set it on a shelf while you're doing whatever and pretend like you're listening to the radio. But we started putting out clips, and it does help. But to me, that's sad to me, because I'm like, I choose what the clip is. Then I'm putting out what I want you to hear, and all that. So you're not getting the whole the narrative before and the narrative how we got there after. And I wish there wasn't, but it goes back to attention spans. Yeah, it just does. You've grabbed me. Many people who I know have done this. It's the clip that'll grab me. Yeah. And
you've always been great with clips. I mean, like I said, my other show, much different than this show, but I've used some of actually your clips. It's not that I clipped your show. I've used your clips in reference to things. So it's very important. And, it's your call to action, but in short form is what it should be.
You guys can steal any of my clips. I don't care. It's going to help.
I've done it anyway.
I was going to say, Garret, are you going to sue Kevin now?
No, I do not care. As long as we're helping people, I don't care. But no, you're right.
And the content.
The reels, how to grow a platform is consistency and hitting every single platform. Like you guys are on 3 different platforms. I see Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook. You have to be. You have to be on everywhere. The AI stuff that's coming out with, and I haven't really dabbled into this yet, with it does everything for you with scheduling and
we tried it. I don't like
everything else. Yeah, I did. It takes away, and that's like you're seeing a lot of people do the AI stuff now. It's just not personable, and you can tell when it's AI, like it's all scripted, and it's just like I just want real. And I think we'll go through this phase where AI is going to like do its thing, but I think people are going to go back to like, you know what? I just want to have a conversation with a human being. Let it be real, and then that's what it will do. But no, I think you got to clip up the reels and put them out there to grab people's attention. But yeah, you're right, Russ. Like you're missing the whole show, because it takes time to do this, right? Like it's not like it's easy. Like you guys got to put work, you got to prepare, and then you got to do everything else afterwards. So
you're giving us too much credit. Kevin and I do not prepare well.
Oh no, I do a 3-hour show personally, and I don't prepare for that show. I just kind of wing it. So this is like,
but those are the fun. Those are the good ones.
Yeah,
people don't want scripted. They don't.
They're real. Yeah, absolutely.
And I say that, but it's not all the way true. Even as the chairman of the Republican Party, I come into meetings unprepared. It's just my nature. But and then say my secretary is always stressed out and doing all the prep for me, and I still end up doing what I'm doing. But I say that, but I still hit the floor in the morning thinking about what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do. I can't say there's no prep.
Yeah.
So
Russ, you're going to love my book.
I'm looking forward to reading it once he finishes it.
We're going to cut this show off, and I'm going to have to get another chapter on my belt this afternoon. At least get
the Whitmer chapter done. I mean, you got to get through the Whitmer chapter. That's
and one more thing I want to explain: how does the when you say your bestseller in certain categories, what do those categories look like? How does that break down?
It's an Amazon thing, so there's many different, like, groups that you can
Oh,
group your book in, like leadership or
I see.
Christian leadership. There's just millions of different
Yeah.
categories, and so what happened, it just start going nuts in all these different categories, and
Do
we
you
just hit number
target
1 in
certain
some.
ones because you know what the content of your book is, or it just
Like,
it? Oh,
when you're putting your book on Amazon, it's asking you what categories is it in? Like,
uh,
what is the premise of your book? So,
sure.
obviously, it's not a
Okay.
fiction or anything like that. So you kinda put it in different categories that you think it's in, and then sell that bad boy.
And you were I could tell that you were truly pleased the first day, the second day, the third day at your results.
Yeah,
It wasn't like you expect you were truly pleased. The numbers were that
very
impressive.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
to hit the Amazon bestseller, it's a pretty big milestone, and
okay.
so the next thing is the reviews, getting people to review, so please review the book once you're done. That gets you in the next category, and then it's kinda self-perpetuating. I'm working on the audiobook right now, that's gonna be
Yeah.
released in 4 weeks, and then, we're gonna see how it goes. I'm, like I said, very happy with the reviews right now. People, and it's a variety. You guys go read the reviews if you want, but there's just a variety of people, to grandmothers, to 22-year-olds, to men and women and 30s and 40s. It just, everybody, it's speaking to everyone, and I'm kind of proud of that because that's hard to do.
Oh yeah.
And it seems like it's hitting on all aspects. So I think we hit the market at the right time. Obviously,
Good.
people feel this book is needed. So we'll see. Maybe even the commie New York Best Times will
Mm.
give us the bestseller one
That's
day.
the big boy when you hit, New York Times bestseller list. Right,
Yeah,
right,
and
right.
I don't even know what that entails, but I
I
probably
wouldn't
just kind of
either.
screwed myself by calling them a communist. But
Yeah, yeah. Hey, not too bad from a guy born and raised in Onstead, Michigan.
Not bad.
that's right.
I wanted to
Onstead, go
remind people of
Wildcats,
that.
go Wildcats, baby,
Down the road, Onstead,
in the
Michigan.
Irish Hills.
Yeah.
I think the
It's a
very first
it,
time I met you, and I don't know when it was, it's been a few years now. God,
yep,
this time might go by. I think, and you knew I was from Jackson. You were quick to tell me that you were from Onstead, Michigan.
yep.
Yep.
It's
So
a
yeah,
beautiful area, man. Great area to
I
raise your
love it.
family. I mean, it's actually gorgeous. I mean, I love the area. I still do.
Well, and you don't live in too shabby of an area now. Michigan as a whole, uh,
Yeah,
I love this state. We have our political problems. We have a lot of problems, but what a beautiful state that we live in. Trees and rolling hills, and well, I Jackson, all the lakes in the state.
yeah.
Period. We are so fortunate, and yeah, winters suck a little bit, but before you know it, they're over with. It's rolling into April, and things are nice. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the great part about Michigan. That's what we fight so hard for because we love this state. And the change of seasons, it's just right when you get sick of one, the next one's right there.
it
So I
does.
love that.
Yeah,
I
you
love
you
the
get
change of seasons,
sometimes winter. Your first of
especially this
February.
winter.
Yeah, your
This
first
winter
of
was hard.
February. Oh, January was brutal. It's first of February, and you're like, I'm sick of this. I'm moving south. That does it.
Yeah,
And then February goes by real fast, and you always look forward to March, but March is always disappointing.
yep.
But April comes, you're
Michigan's
there.
drunk in March. Michigan is
Yeah,
completely drunk in March, stumbling
yeah.
all over the place.
I've been saying for a couple of years, and my wife's not there yet. I'm like, we're moving. We're moving south. We're moving somewhere with better climate, weather climate, and political climate. But I'm holding out hope. And in the beginning of this show, I said it, and we have it right in our intro. I do feel that the political climate in 2027 is going to look a whole lot better in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I do.
Yeah.
I have a lot of hope right now, especially I'm very proud of the delegates. I've been hard on the delegates over the past couple of years on my platforms and stuff, very disappointed in the product, but I really feel that they got it right this time. And I'm excited to see what happens. And there's a lot more unity now. I think we still have our screamers and people
We
that
sure do.
it's just part of the game. But I feel that the majority of folks are on the same page, and we just have to continue to, trudge forward and blaze that trail. And the biggest thing is to continue to call out the people who are going to take their ball and go home and not vote for the primary winner.
We've seen the results when we don't come together, and those results aren't good.
100%. So let's learn the lesson, right? 24-hour rule, as we say, right, guys?
Yeah.
Let's make this a great year in Michigan and a great year for our country. That's for sure.
I agree.
Garrett, thanks for everything you've done.
Thank you so much
with the book. What you've done over the years, you've been an inspiration to many, and I think the book's just going to help with that. I'm looking forward to finishing it up, and I'll show it again. See, well,
yep. I got it in the pinned comment, the pinned comment in the chat on the Rumble, and I posted it on the Facebook chat as well. There was nobody in the YouTube chat, so I didn't post it there, but it's also in the description of this episode.
Anything else you want to say about selling this book? Doesn't
no,
cost
I just
much either.
No, $16.99 and $9.99, I think, on Kindle.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time, guys. It was actually,
Anytime.
haven't been interviewed and talking in a while. This is fun, and even the political side.
Yeah.
So,
but I appreciate that you gave that to us a little bit. Remember I knew the person that commented in that Facebook post. He's a Jackson guy, and I almost said, "Oh, Garrett's not going to go there." And I do this all the time. Don't comment, Russ. Don't comment. You know how that is,
Absolutely.
But you're like, no, that's not going to happen.
I did it for you, Russ.
You did. I know him well, and yeah.
I don't like endorsements.
Huh?
I don't like endorsements, man. I just never been a fan of it. Who cares what Garrett thinks?
Garrett is not going to endorse, right?
No, go do your own due diligence, ask your questions, and I'll tell you who I voted for after the election.
Right.
I've seen you in the past say who you're disappointed in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'll tell you.
I'm not even going to mention those people. I'm not even going to go there.
I'll mention one. I'll give you a little bit. I am disappointed in John James running for governor. I just said it.
You've been clear.
I've said that in the past. Congress is, we need.
Why would you risk that?
I don't know. And I'm all for people trying to further their career and go up the ladder. I get all that, but there just comes a time when you have to look at the bigger game here and what's on the line. And we all love what's happening, mostly what's happening in our country right now with the progress, the border being shut down. And I think great things are coming here. I believe that the Trump administration knows what they're doing with the Iran thing. Hopefully that will get solved up here quickly, and just hum this economy, which we all want to have happen. And it's too much stuff on the line to lose the House and the Senate. And then they're just going to try to impeach him for the next 2 years.
They will. And on the Iran thing, I really do think the Trump administration knew pretty much every step they were in for when they did their Iran. The Strait of Hormuz, they knew every bit of this was going to happen. I think I'm one of these, and Trump I trust. It's getting harder and harder, but Trump I trust still.
Yeah, and look at Venezuela.
Yeah,
you don't think they had a plan?
Right,
oil,
there was a good plan
we'll
there.
See.
Yeah. Thank you, Garrett, so very much for taking time out of your vacation.
Yeah.
And
it looks like we sold you a book. So.
Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Kevin said he sold.
Well, it says, one of my people in my chat, Tweety, who's a fan of all my shows, says that it's free for Kindle members, but I'll purchase it to contribute to the effort. So
I appreciate that. But here's one more thing. I heard there is a rumor that it's going to be on President Trump's desk for him to sign soon. So we'll see if that happens.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That would help a lot, I'm sure.
Let us know when that happens. I'm sure you will.
Oh, yeah. I'll be posting it. That's for sure.
Thanks, Garrett. Get back with your family if that's who you're with, and enjoy those palm trees.
Yeah, have fun.
I appreciate you guys. God bless you, man.
Thank you, Garrett. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I guess I better finish up reading that book.
I'm looking forward to reading it myself. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll have it done end of the week. And by the way, I bought it for the office up here, so it's.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about our Turning Point guys and. All that.
Yeah, that'd be a good one for the Turning.
It's perfect for them, and it'll be up here. You know me, I don't read a lot of books. Kevin.
No, I've never known you to read a book. Yeah. I'm sure you have. Actually, I said it to Matt earlier. Yeah. I'm sure you have.
But I got it late. I procrastinated like I often do, and I didn't get it ordered in time. But I did, and I'm like, and remember first page, second page. I'm like, hey, this ain't too bad, you know.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be. Like I said, I was flipping through the cliff notes, and they're very short, but it's like it seems like it's broken down really nicely and easily for an easy read, and it's awesome. That's what you wanted, and that's what's going to get kids to read it.
I believe so. Grown men, old men, young men. Like you said, he's kind of geared.
Put it by your toilet. Read a couple chapters like pooping.
I don't do that. It distracts me.
Oh, I got stuff to do.
I don't take my phone in. I don't take a book. It distracts me from the business at hand.
By the way, I wanted to bring up, you mentioned you're like, oh yeah, old people don't like long ones. Well, I want you to explain yourself, because we have Tweety in the chat who we found out was a little older than you, and she watches all of my shows. So what is your excuse?
I'm busier than Tweety.
Apparently.
I don't know.
She lives in California, so.
You still do the Sunday show?
I do my Sunday show, yeah.
Sunday evening.
Yeah, right? Sunday evenings, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
The Manic Festo.
Yeah, I was jumping on that.
Yeah, I did.
I'll jump back.
I did a show yesterday, really leaning in towards the whole Blackman lawsuit thing going, because that's progressed into a much larger problem.
You also know that your dad stays away from conversations with that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And I don't talk to you about it.
I'm like, well, that's Kevin's business.
And I don't talk to you about it.
And my phone has not rang one bit over it. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's I keep you updated, and but the rest of it's me. I know that.
That's Kevin's business. I see when you address them, you put parentheses Kevin in there because our names are the same.
Yes. Oh, well, on my email, it's in high. It's hyphenated. That way it's my professional signature is that way.
All right, yeah, because at first I'm like, they're going to think I'm doing this.
That's why, it says Russell Kevin Jennings II.
You're a grown man. You make your own decisions. You'll do what you do. Good for you. Keeps you occupied.
Yeah, that's for sure.
All right. Yeah, thanks a lot, Garrett, for coming on.
Tweety says you are much busier than her. She agrees.
Okay,
so we know.
Let me tell you, I was swamped today.
Yeah.
Oh man, I still got unsolved.
My phone hasn't stopped ringing. I understand.
I got so much unsolved business that I got to finish up today. It's not even right now. I get all agitated once I sit down. About an hour later, I got it caught up.
Get it done. Yeah,
I got it caught up.
That's all I got to do too.
Very demanding today. My gosh, I've got a debit card disruption.
Oh geez, those are the worst.
Not personally, and
I'm dealing with
and we had Perry Johnson scheduled for April 9th. They got to change that date. I'm waiting for that new date. We've got a registration. People have already registered. That's
a big problem.
But I got Chris working on a big part of that.
By the way, I couldn't remember. Didn't we attempt to get Garrett on once before? Was he the one that we never got? We had to cancel the show. We had technical issues.
No, that was Ryan Kelly.
No, Ryan Kelly. We actually tried to do a show. I think Garrett was the one where we canceled last second.
I don't remember that.
It was way early in the podcast. I was just thinking. I couldn't remember.
I don't remember that.
I think we tried once. But yeah, he's a great guy. They're saying in the chat, and I agree. Great guest. I mean,
I always thought, the platform he has. Why is he going to want to jump on our podcast? That's why I've always thought.
Well, because he understands. I remember when Grassroots Army was the little guy.
Yeah.
And now he's not even doing it anymore. It's still a force to be reckoned with.
He's a great communicator and a great what do you call it? Inspirational motivator. Speaker.
Yeah, he's a motivated speaker. Yeah. He's
and whether he's trained in that or not, he does an awesome job.
He communicates well. That's the biggest thing.
He's a great communicator.
Oh, yeah. He's engaging.
And I'll tell you what, more than likely, there's a lot of women buying that book because they probably think he's a cutie pie or something.
Well, actually, that was kind of what came up in the Rumble chat early, is that Tweety had mentioned that he's a good-looking fella. So, and he is. He's a good-looking guy.
He is. Great shape.
Oh, yeah.
Better shape than I've ever been in my life. I'm probably in the best shape I've been in most of my life just because of the weight loss.
Yeah. As far back as I can remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The weight loss, and I feel a whole lot better with it. And it doesn't matter how I obtain it, just losing that weight is amazing.
Yeah.
Let me tell you,
you feel better about it.
My ankles and knees were hurting on that convention floor Saturday, though. There wasn't enough ibuprofen in the world.
Ooh.
Man.
I can only imagine, because, I don't have the same ailments, but moving around and standing and stuff, I could only imagine. I would do it, but at the end of it,
standing's worse than walking.
Yeah, sometimes sitting is worse than walking.
Once you're
For
in
me,
that,
at least.
once I'm in that category and I'm hurting, I'm like, I gotta sit down. You sit down, it doesn't make it any better.
No.
And you might as well just keep standing and walking and moving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Body
motion stays in motion.
But yeah, I haven't been through that much discomfort in quite a while.
I probably would have missed. We probably would have had to cancel today's show if I would have had to stand around for that long.
You got seating.
Yeah, I know, but still, just that much movement, and I mean, my ailment's a little bit different than yours in a lot of ways. My fatigue would just be out of control right now.
If you're a typical delegate, you sit there, mind your own business, take pictures, go get something to eat. I'm pulled in 1,000 different directions.
Right.
You've seen us at events, me at events.
Yeah.
And, people want your attention, whether it's just to say hello or not.
Yeah.
And you're not going to ignore that,
Yeah, people want my attention to say hello, and I half the time don't even know who they are. So I get it.
Also, too, the first 2 hours, you're corralling cats. By the way,
you do have a job to do, technically.
Kevin, and I did it good. I did it good. So I got there nice and early, and Karen, our secretary, treasurer, was going to meet us there, and she had pieces of paper that said Jackson on them, and we got 36 delegates. We were going to get in there as fast as we can and reserve 36 seats for Jackson in a great spot. Karen arrived late.
Okay.
All right. There was an incident.
That happens.
She's fine though, and so I got there without the placards or whatever we were going to use.
Right.
And I said, well, let me figure out where this at. Now the convention room was locked, and there's a guy at the door, and people are trying to get in. He's like, no, authorized personnel only, authorized personnel only. Well, I knew the guy. And I went up cool. I'm like, hey, Dan, you got to be authorized personnel. He goes, yeah, you're authorized.
I authorize you.
I said, cool. Now he's running for Senate, so I'm going to have to contribute to his Senate campaign. Maybe that's why.
Maybe we got to get him on the show.
Maybe I will. Actually, he'd be a good guest.
Yeah.
There's two of them. Kenny Clevenger would be another good one to get on the show. But we're getting booked up, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, yeah.
But I went in just to figure out where we are. I couldn't reserve the spots. I had to be at the Mike Rogers breakfast because I wanted to say hello, Mike Rogers. And I leave, and I run into Carly Bastador, a newer member from us, way younger than me and very capable. And I go, Carly, can I ask you to go try to hold down these 36 seats?
Right.
I'll give it a shot, Russ. So I go back. We get to the door, and my buddy's still there. And I go, am I still authorized? He goes, yeah, I don't know about her, though. And I go, yeah, she's got to come with me. And he kind of looks up and down. She's attractive. And he goes, oh, yeah, she's good. So I get us in. We got the front row of the section that we were designated, the whole 5th district. And I says, Carly, I need you to hold down these 36 seats. It's 2 rows in a row, and then 4 in the 3rd row.
Right.
I said, I don't know how you're going to do it. Let me tell you, she held them all down. I left for an hour. I'd come back because I felt bad for her, help her out. And we held them down. And it got sketchy.
I bet.
It got sketchy there for a minute, people wanting seats because the venue gave the 5th district not enough seats.
Oh.
So they were scrambling. We ended up with seats. But we held down all the 36 seats, front row of our section.
Yeah.
We did good. Right there. That's why I'm the chairman, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. You did your job.
Did my job. I can take the next 10 months off.
No. Oh no. Well, wait. There's a general coming.
But we did have good seats, and we're happy we're there. I didn't write down what I'm supposed to talk about.
I can pull up the. I got the website pulled up ready for you.
I will start with this, guys. Perry Johnson is coming to Jackson in April. The date of the 9th might change. If you have registered, hold tight. We will be contacting you with a new date that has not been confirmed yet. But Perry Johnson is coming in his Perry Johnson tour bus for a free event. Free. He's paying for the food. Only thing he's not paying for, we're putting in the Commonwealth bar, and we'll have a cash bar.
Yeah.
But the food's free. All that beverage is free. Come up, and Perry Johnson will do what he does. And then guess what, though? I since then have booked Ralph Rebrandt for May to do the same thing.
All right.
So
another free one.
Yes. So it looks like I have a new direction as far as events, and I should probably get Tom Leonard or Eric Nesbitt, Mike Cox. Mike Cox is always a good one to bring to Jackson.
Yeah.
Does that Mike Cox love Jackson or what?
Yeah, he's always here. I think he's not here right now.
I bet he's here.
He might be here right now. I don't know.
Does he have an office here without me knowing?
Possibly.
He probably owes us a couple months rent. I mean.
Hey.
But yeah, Mike Cox.
Sleeping with my dog bed or something.
He has been up here so many times. And so anyways, I predict maybe June we'll have a candidate. Let's do that for our Under the Oak Speaker Series. They might not be on the typical days, but what does it matter?
No,
free, not $12. Free.
Yeah,
you just come.
I'll be here for free.
I know.
I mean,
I know.
come on.
So anyways, stay tuned for information on the Perry Johnson visit for April. And then we're still waiting on a date for May. I have worked out the deal, though, with Ralph Ray Brandt. We're just waiting on a date for that.
Okay.
And so we're going to stay very busy. And then, Kevin, do you bring up the website? What date is our precinct delegate recruitment day?
This thing right here?
Yes. So.
Like I knew where you're going.
Yeah. April 18th. Right here at the Jackson GOP headquarters. You know how you find out where the Jackson GOP headquarters is? You just go to jacksongop.org.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you how to get there. We're on the third floor of the Commonwealth Commerce Center building in downtown Jackson, with plenty of free parking. But on the 18th, from, what's it say there? 10 until 3?
About 10 until 3.
10 until 3 is recruitment delegate. What are we calling that?
Precinct delegate sign-up day.
Sign-up day. Okay, if you're an existing precinct delegate and you want to be a precinct delegate in the next term, you have to fill out your affidavit of identity. If you are not a precinct delegate and you want to be a precinct delegate, this is a great opportunity for that also. Every precinct in the county has openings, and we need precinct delegates. If you cannot commit to a precinct delegate, we need volunteers. Go to jxngop.org, figure out how to get a hold of us, and help us volunteer for anything out there. Every little bit helps. It takes all of us to elect Republicans, and that's what our goal is. But during that time, we'll have our county clerk, Sierra Soul, here. We're working really, really hard on a notary to be here if Sierra isn't one. I have a feeling Sierra might be
I bet she is. I mean, she deals with a lot of notarized.
So if you've never done this before, what it is, you come out and you fill out this little form called Affidavit of Identity. It isn't as scary as it sounds. You fill it out. We notarize it on the spot. We take it to the county clerk, and then you're on the August ballot to be a Republican precinct delegate. Yep. So that sign-up date is April 18th. And you just come on up here, and we'll show you around. And we usually always have yummy food and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have something.
Do you know when Monica Tuma was here last Thursday, Monica bought Jimmy John's subs.
Okay.
But you know what? One of our members made key lime pie.
Well, sad I missed it. I was going to be
little mini key lime pies.
Oh, well.
Like little mini graham cracker puff. With
you need like 10 of them and not feel bad about it.
But like real lemon on the top.
Oh, man.
It was very yummy.
That sounds good.
It's what they do.
Yeah, I know. Every time they surprise me.
I so appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
So, April 18th for that. So I guess a couple things going on in April. Perry Johnson, recruitment day. Then May, we'll do Ralph Rebrandt. And you know what? There's always something else that is going to pop up. But you know where you find that out at?
jxngop.org.
That's right.
And that's always down in the description, guys.
By the way, Kevin, I had somebody ask Chris about so is that meeting or whatever it is that in the in that room that you guys have where you did the last event? Some people don't realize this is our home.
This is where we live.
It's our office. It's our event. Everything is here.
I always refer to it as headquarters. And
I think so too.
I've ran into that too, where people just thought it was just during the Trump campaign.
Right. Now,
that's where it started.
The only thing that isn't here is our 300 Club monthly meeting.
Yep.
We do that at Steve's Ranch, 9:00 in the morning on the last Saturday of the month. Other than that, everything is in the Jackson GOP.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? beautiful and huge.
Capacity is 435 people.
They put a thing outside that said it.
I know
was confused.
435.
But it makes sense. It's a big place.
Why would we do anything anywhere else?
No, yeah, right.
So, but I don't know if everybody, well, you know why they don't know that? They don't go on to jxngop.org enough.
Either that or they haven't been up here. They may still think that you're still down the little room downstairs.
I won't say her name, but somebody should have known that worked for one of the candidates was up here and says, oh, you guys were able to rent this room again? And she should know that this is our permanent home.
Yeah.
So those things disappoint me, Kevin, because we've been screaming this for a very long time.
Yeah, well, today was a great viewership. A lot of viewers on Facebook and on Rumble.
Because people love the Garret.
Yeah, people love the Garret. Maybe we need to have the Garret out.
When we have guys like Shane and John on, it's haters.
Yeah, it's still people.
But when it's Garret, it's...
Oh, yeah, it was a very different chat today.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Oh, no one was mad?
Not that I came across, no.
Garret, in the past, on his social media, he could rub some feathers. He doesn't hold back from what he's got to say.
Yeah, that's true. And, I mean, a lot of our Rumble viewers today were, by extension, viewers of my shows.
Yeah,
so they're not going to... They're a different breed. They're not going to be the same. But on Facebook, it looked very much so people I've never seen before. So,
nice.
Garret lovers.
Oh, before I forget,
ladies.
So we already have somebody booked for next Monday, and I might have screwed this up, but I think it's Brian Ignatowski. Brian Ignatowski, candidate for State Representative District 48. Let me explain District 48. The southern portion of Livingston County and the northern portion of Washtenaw County and one township in Jackson County.
Waterloo, right?
Waterloo. And what makes this an important seat, he ran for that last cycle and lost barely. Ooh. It's a very flippable seat. We just need to get some more enthusiasm behind it, raise him some money and things like that. And Brian is a really cool guy. And so he is booked for next week. I don't know if it's in person or remote yet, Kevin. I think we're leaning towards in person. He's got to let me know.
Yeah. You just let me know, and we'll take.
You and I prefer the in-person interviews.
I do. I like it a lot.
We're getting used to that remote stuff, though.
Yeah, well, we've got it smoothed out pretty good. It used to be a little bumpy.
So we're booked up for Monday. Who did we just mention maybe for a guest 5 minutes ago?
Oh, your buddy at the door.
Oh, yeah, I've got two candidates for state senate that I wouldn't mind bringing on here: Dan Lawless and my buddy, maybe cousin Kenny Clevenger.
Oh, it could be cousin. Yeah, I mean, it's not a very common last name.
No, it's
Is
not.
he from Concord? Because then it's up and shut, I think.
No, that's not the Concord group. It isn't. No, that's Hawkins. But
Hawkins, sorry, yes. It's all the...
It's still related. And, you know, we just tell everybody we're cousins. Okay,
yeah, whatever. We're all related.
We're hillbillies from Tennessee, and our grandfathers and stuff came up here from Tennessee to work because there was no freaking jobs down there.
It was just funny because we ended up shipping all of our industry from Jackson down to Tennessee.
We sure did.
That's ironic.
When the city of Jackson got greedy and just started gouging them with property taxes and regulations,
they're
like,
let's go to Tennessee.
They're like, the big one was Goodyear said, we're going to Tennessee. And guess what, employees? You can come with us if you want. Some went down and some like, oh, I'm going to stay home. You should have went down.
Well,
some went down and came back.
The problem is they sent a lot of that industry from Tennessee down to Mexico. So
yeah, the weather's nice in Mexico, but
yeah,
I don't know if I live there.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of weirdness.
All right.
Anyways,
we're right at 3:30.
Yeah, we're killing it. We were on
down?
time at the beginning. We're on time at the end. That doesn't happen very often. Thanks for watching today, guys. It was actually great viewership, great show, great guests.
We'll have a lot of good clips.
Yo, I hope so. Down in the description is got all the links for Garrett's new book. Was it Men Are Not Found or Men Are Forged They're Not Found? Is that right?
Men Are Forged, Not Found. Amazon.
So, yeah, check that out, guys. You can always support us at Ko-Fi, ko-fi/STTP pod. And other than that, we're out of here. Nothing else for you, Pops?
I'm good, man.
All right. Well, we'll see you next Monday with maybe Brian Ignatowski.
It's confirmed. We just don't know live.
Okay. So we will have Brian Ignatowski next week. And this Rumble. Come on, Rumble. Really? All right. We're out of here. So everybody have a good one. See you.
You've been listening to a Grandma's Boy Media Production.
Michigan's elite political podcast is about to begin, live from the birthplace of the Republican Party.